The black ship shuddered as if sensing the storm that loomed beyond its reinforced hull. In the heart of its command center, Commander Syrinx stood before the panoramic view of space, a vast, inky canvas punctuated by the distant glimmers of stars and the creeping menace of an approaching armada. His eyes, hardened by battles fought in the void of countless galaxies, now reflected the weight of a decision that could alter the destiny of humanity. For years, the crew of the black ship had fought against enemies lurking in the shadows, struggled with the betrayals that had seeped into their midst, and sought redemption in the ancient echoes of Project Eclipse. But today, the silence was shattered by the roar of an enemy that would soon descend upon them, a force whose overwhelming might would test the mettle of every soul aboard. Lieutenant Zorath, his iridescent eyes fixed on the swirling mass of enemy vessels emerging from the darkness, spoke with a measured urgency. "Commander, sensors indicate that the alien fleet is larger than we anticipated, an armada of colossal, biomechanical warships that seem to be grown rather than built." His voice, usually tempered by scholarly calm, trembled slightly with the mix of awe and dread that his discovery had wrought. The alien ships, their surfaces slick with an otherworldly sheen, glinted ominously as they drew nearer, their formations precise and menacing like the coordinated movements of some colossal beast. Engineer Karen's fingers danced over the console as streams of quantum data cascaded across the display. "Our defenses are calibrated for guerrilla skirmishes, not for an onslaught of this magnitude," Karen said, their tone edged with both excitement and apprehension. "The black ship's adaptive systems, those we managed to reconfigure after the betrayal, are our only hope to hold them off. We need to integrate the new overrides from the quantum flux chamber, but time is against us." In a quieter alcove near the command deck, Zephyra leaned against a bulkhead, her eyes shadowed by the burdens of her past. The clandestine corridors of her former isolation now converged with the urgent pulse of impending battle. "I never imagined I'd have to face an enemy like this," she murmured softly, her voice a mix of regret and resolve. "My own demons pale in comparison to what we're up against. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that our unity is our greatest weapon." Her thoughts flashed back to the secret archives, the cryptic warnings left by the architects of Eclipse, warnings that had hinted at a power capable of reordering fate itself. Now, those warnings had become stark reality. Commander Orion, the silent sentinel of memories and lost hopes, took a steadying breath as he approached the main console. His weathered features, etched with sorrow and determination, betrayed the toll that past failures had exacted. "We have prepared for countless contingencies," he intoned in a gravelly voice, "but this enemy. This is something else entirely. The strength of their forces is overwhelming. It is not merely their weaponry, it is the ferocity of their will. And if we do not act decisively, we may lose everything." His words hung in the charged air, a somber reminder that the forthcoming clash would not only be a battle for survival, but a crucible that would test the very soul of the resistance. In the dim glow of the command center, Nerox, whose reclusive genius had once decoded the black ship's hidden signals, stepped forward from the shadows. "I've intercepted a series of encrypted transmissions from their flagship," he announced, his voice low and tinged with a rare urgency. "They speak of a convergence, a clash of titans where our fates will be decided in the cold vacuum of space. There's a promise in their words, a promise of total annihilation, should we fail." His revelation cut through the murmurs of apprehension like a shard of ice. The alien rhetoric was not just a battle cry, it was a harbinger of doom. As the enemy fleet loomed ever closer, the black ship's self-aware AI, its digital consciousness a fusion of ancient protocols and modern innovations, suddenly activated. A crystalline voice, imbued with the wisdom of forgotten eras, echoed through the vessel, "Prepare for the convergence. Unite the light and the shadow. Embrace the legacy of Eclipse." The Ari's message, both a command and a benediction, resonated deeply with each member of the crew, stirring a mix of fear, hope, and an indomitable will to prevail. The moment had arrived. With a final glance at the star-speckled void beyond the observation deck, Commander Syrinx gave the order. "All units, brace for impact. Activate the integrated defense grid and synchronize the temporal nodes with our offensive arrays. We hold our position at all costs." His voice, carrying the combined weight of command and the personal anguish of past betrayals, rang out with unyielding authority. Outside, the silence of space exploded into chaos as the first salvo of alien energy beams tore through the vacuum. The black ship shuddered violently under the relentless assault, its reinforced plating absorbing the concentrated blasts like the skin of a wounded titan. For a brief, heart-stopping moment, the vast expanse of space was illuminated by the infernal glow of exploding warheads and searing beams of plasma. Amid this maelstrom, the crew's preparations were put to the ultimate test. At the helm, Lieutenant Zorath manipulated the controls with a fervor born of desperation. Adjusting vector angles. We must use their momentum against them to deflect the energy waves along our hull. His voice was strange yet resolute as he coordinated with the tactical team. In response, the adaptive defense grid shimmered to life, a radiant barrier woven from quantum entanglements and alien inscriptions, deflecting and absorbing the ferocious energy attacks. Engineer Karen's station was a hive of activity as they reconfigured the ship's energy conduits. "I'm integrating the quantum flux overrides," Karen called out, sweat beading on their brow as they recalibrated the complex circuitry. "We have a limited window. If we can channel the absorbed energy into our plasma cannons, we might just turn the tide." Their fingers flew over the console, orchestrating a delicate balance between ancient alien technology and the raw power of human innovation. Sparks of blue and violet energy surged across the display, signaling a potential breakthrough that could amplify the ship's counter-offensive. In the midst of the battle, Zephyra moved swiftly along the narrow corridors, her covert expertise now indispensable in the chaos of war. Armed with a compact plasma rifle and a determination fueled by years of isolation and remorse, she led a small squad to secure the critical access points along the ship's lower decks. "We can't let the enemy's cyber infiltration compromise our systems," she barked into her comm, her voice cutting through the din of battle. Her team, a mix of hardened veterans and eager recruits, responded with swift precision, sealing off compartments and isolating sections of the ship that were vulnerable to enemy tampering. Commander Orion, his face set in a grim mask of resolve, joined the tactical team on the bridge as well. "Cover the flanks," he ordered, his tone imbued with the authority of one who had seen the horrors of war and the price of inaction. "Every second counts. We must hold the line until Karen can fully integrate our new defensive protocols." The older commander's eyes, though weary, burned with the intensity of a man who had sacrificed much and was now prepared to risk even more for the future of his people. Amid the chaos of battle, a new and unexpected twist unfolded. As the alien fleet unleashed a barrage of high-intensity ion pulses, a sector of the black ship's defenses began to flicker erratically. Nerox's fingers danced over his console as he decoded the incoming transmissions. "This is not just an attack. They're attempting to breach our internal communications," he reported urgently. "I'm detecting a signal emanating from one of our own network nodes, a signal that appears to be hijacked by the enemy." His revelation sent ripples of alarm through the command center. The possibility that the alien forces had found a way to infiltrate their digital sanctum added a new layer of peril to an already desperate struggle. Commander Sirix's eyes narrowed as he absorbed the gravity of the situation. "It seems our enemy is more cunning than we thought," he muttered, his tone laced with a mixture of anger and resolve. "We must secure our network and isolate the corrupted node before it can cripple our command structure." His command was both a challenge and a rallying cry, a call to arms in the face of an enemy that sought to undermine them from within. Lieutenant Zorath, ever the scholar of both ancient lore and modern technology, suggested a radical countermeasure. "We might be able to reverse engineer their infiltration code," he proposed, his voice steady despite the mounting pressure. "If we can mirror their signal and inject our own counter-protocol, we may turn their own weapon against them." His proposal was met with cautious nods and tense expressions as the team rapidly mobilized to implement his daring strategy. Engineer Karen, sweat glistening on their brow from the relentless pace of reconfiguring circuits and systems, gritted their teeth in determination. "I'm initiating the override sequence now," Karen declared. "Prepare for a data inversion attack. If we can reverse their signal, it will not only secure our network but may also disrupt their coordinated barrage." The console's display pulsed with streams of binary code, rapidly morphing into a chaotic dance of numbers and symbols as the countermeasure took effect. The battle raged on in a symphony of violence and high technology, a chaotic interplay of alien plasma beams, human ingenuity, and the indomitable will of a crew united by purpose. Outside the hull, the alien fleet pressed forward, their monstrous warships unleashing torrents of energy that transformed the void into a seething, fiery battleground. Each explosion, each shimmering burst of quantum energy, underscored the overwhelming might of an enemy determined to eradicate all hope. As the internal counterattack reached its crescendo, the corrupted network node began to flicker and pulse erratically. Nerox's eyes widened in astonishment as he witnessed the enemy's code being overpowered by their own. "It's working," he whispered, barely audible over the cacophony of combat. "Our counter-protocol is reversing their breach. The signal is collapsing in on itself." His voice, a mixture of relief and disbelief, was the first glimmer of hope in the midst of chaos. For a fleeting moment, the battle's ferocity wavered as the alien forces hesitated, caught off guard by the unexpected turn of events. The Black ship's defenses, bolstered by the fusion of quantum overrides and centuries-old alien protocols, roared to life in a unified surge of energy. Commander Sirix seized the opportunity. "All units, now!" he bellowed over the intercom. "Channel all available power into the plasma cannons and let our unified fire be the answer to their onslaught." In a blinding flash of light, the Black ship's newly enhanced plasma cannons discharged a torrent of energy that streaked across the vacuum of space like a bolt of divine retribution. The alien vessels, caught in the unexpected surge, shuddered violently as their hulls were battered by the relentless assault. The tide of battle, once seemingly insurmountable, began to shift as the overwhelming force of the enemy was met with the resolute strength of human innovation and unity. Amid the chaos, Zephyra led her squad with fierce determination, moving from one critical access point to another, her plasma rifle blazing as she repelled boarding parties sent by the alien craft. "We must secure every corridor," she shouted into her comm, her voice a clarion call that cut through the pandemonium. "Do not let them breach our sanctum. They are here to tear us apart from the inside out." Commander Orion, standing at a vantage point high above the conflict, watched the interplay of light and shadow with a heavy heart. Every explosion, every burst of searing energy was a testament to the sacrifices made and the battles yet to come. "Hold the line," he murmured to his subordinates, his voice both a command and a prayer. "For every soul aboard this ship, for every hope of our future, do not let them prevail." Time seemed to slow as the Black ship and the alien fleet engaged in a final, desperate contest of wills. The sound of clashing titans echoed through the vessel, metal against alien alloy, human spirit against the cold precision of an enemy that had evolved beyond the simple confines of mortality. In that crucible of conflict, each member of the crew was forced to confront not only the external threat but also the internal scars that had long festered in the dark corners of their hearts. Then, as if guided by the ancient wisdom of Project Eclipse itself, the ship's self-aware AI activated one final protocol. A spectral cascade of data and energy enveloped the command center, and a luminous projection of the ship's creators, a montage of faces and voices from a bygone era, filled the space with a serene, yet powerful presence. "Remember," the voices intoned in unison, "the strength of a united spirit is immeasurable. Let your collective will be the catalyst for a new dawn." In that transcendent moment, a surge of clarity washed over the crew. Commander Sirix, his eyes alight with the fires of determination, raised his hand in a silent vow. "This is our stand," he declared, his voice echoing with the promise of renewal. "We will not be defined by our failures, nor will we cower before the enemy. We are the architects of our destiny, and today, we forge a new legacy, one of unity, resilience, and hope." As the alien forces recoiled under the overwhelming counter-assault, the Black ship's adaptive systems hummed in harmony, a symphony of reclaimed power and restored trust. The corrupted node's collapse signaled not only the end of the cyber assault, but the re-establishment of a secure network that now pulsed with the unified spirit of its crew. One by one, the alien warships began to retreat, their once unassailable formations now fractured and disoriented by the unexpected human counterstrike. In the aftermath of the titanic clash, as the space around the Black ship slowly cleared of the remnants of battle, a profound silence settled, a silence that spoke of both loss and hope. The crew, battered but unbroken, gathered in the central hub where the soft luminescence of holographic screens now displayed data of victory and sacrifice. Lieutenant Zorath exhaled deeply, his face marked by both exhaustion and a bittersweet relief. "We have won this day," he murmured, his voice echoing the sentiments of every soul present, "but the cost will linger in our hearts long after the stars forget our names." Engineer Karen's gaze was fixed on the now stabilized energy conduits, their hands still trembling with the adrenaline of combat. "We've proven that even the overwhelming force of an enemy can be met with our ingenuity," Karen said quietly. "Our technology, when fueled by our unity, becomes an extension of our will, a weapon forged in the fires of our shared determination." Zephyra, her eyes reflecting the scars of both past isolation and the recent battle, stepped forward and allowed herself a rare moment of vulnerability. "Today, I learned that the enemy among us isn't always the one with physical weapons," she confessed, her voice steady despite the tremor of emotion. "Sometimes, it's the darkness we carry within ourselves. And when we face that darkness together, we can create a light that no force can extinguish." Commander Orion Sambernod was the silent affirmation of a man who had seen the toll of endless conflict. "We have tasted defeat and despair," he said, his voice soft yet resonant. "But today, our collective courage has written a new chapter, a chapter where the strength of our unity triumphs over even the most insidious of adversaries." As the black ship sailed onward through the reawakened silence of space, its battered hull a testament to the day's ferocity, the crew took a moment to reflect on the lessons learned in the crucible of battle. Outside, the void stretched infinitely, a tapestry of stars and distant galaxies that whispered of battles yet to come and destinies waiting to be forged. The alien fleet, now receding into the darkness, left behind a lingering promise of further conflict, a promise that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges as formidable as the titanic clash they had just endured. In the quiet that followed, Commander Cyrix gathered his officers in the central chamber. The holographic display now showed a slowly stabilizing network, a symbol of the restored harmony between human ingenuity and ancient alien legacy. "Today, we have faced the overwhelming strength of our enemy," Cyrix said, his voice steady and filled with both sorrow and determination. "But we have also discovered a power far greater than brute force, a power that resides in our willingness to confront our inner demons and unite as one. This victory is not the end, it is merely the beginning of our journey. There is still much to learn, many secrets to uncover, and a future to build upon the ashes of this battle." Lieutenant Zorath added, "Our fight has shown that the legacy of Project Eclipse is more than a memory, it is a living, breathing part of us. And it is through understanding our past that we can shape a future that honors every sacrifice we have made." Nerox's voice, quiet yet resolute, echoed in the stillness. "The signals we intercepted, the warnings of our creators, they are not mere relics of history. They are guides that will lead us through the coming storm. Let us remember that our strength lies in our shared vision and our relentless pursuit of truth." In that profound moment of collective introspection, the crew of the black ship found solace in the knowledge that even the fiercest clash of titans could be transformed into a beacon of hope. As they resumed their duties, repairing, recalibrating, and planning for the uncertain future, a renewed sense of purpose ignited within them. They had confronted an enemy both external and within, and in doing so, had discovered that the true measure of their power was not in their weapons or their technology, but in the unity of their spirit. The battle had been brutal, the cost immense, yet as the black ship glided silently through the cosmos, its course set toward the next frontier, there remained a lingering sense of wonder and anticipation. Every scar on its hull, every fragment of alien code etched into its systems, was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And as the stars twinkled like beacons in the infinite darkness, the crew knew that the clash they had endured was only the first of many challenges to come. In the reflective calm that followed the storm, Commander Cyrix allowed himself a brief moment of introspection. "Today, we have clashed with titans both in the form of our enemies and within ourselves," he whispered, almost to the void. "But remember, every battle fought and every sacrifice made paves the way for a future we dare to dream of. We are the architects of our destiny, and our unity is the light that will guide us through the darkest of nights." With that, the black ship sailed on, a silent guardian of hope amid the vast, star-studded expanse of space. The echoes of the day's conflict resonated through its corridors, a reminder that every ending is but a prelude to a new beginning, a promise that the next chapter of their epic journey would be written with the ink of courage, unity, and the indomitable human will. And so, as the crew dispersed to their stations, repairing the wounds of battle and preparing for the inevitable challenges that lay ahead, the lingering promise of renewal mingled with the cold silence of space. The titanic clash had been fought, the enemy repelled for now, but the mysteries of the cosmos, the secrets of the Black Ship, and the ever-present threat of a greater conflict continued to whisper from the void. In that quiet, contemplative moment, every heartbeat aboard the ship echoed a shared vow that together they would face the unknown, and through unity, transform every trial into a stepping stone toward a future where the light of hope would never fade.